Hey guys, how you going? Okay guys, before I start tonight, I would like to thank Michael. Thank you very much, Michael, for that donation. I really appreciate that. I also think somebody else tried to donate a few days ago. It didn't go through. So just letting you know in case whoever it was, you just check your bank and that to make sure you've got it back, you know? Okay guys, we're going to go straight from, we're going to go to the fires in America first. This one's from Cheeky Skunk and Fukushima Exposed. And it says, here's the fire drone that Twitter, Google and YouTube don't want you to see. So hopefully I don't get in trouble for this, but... How do I make that go? These are fire drones. And I think they've used these in Australia and called it, they said it's duck burning. But that doesn't look very good or controlled to me. What do you think, guys? And there is also this from Julian's Rum. I know the temptation is to blame it on dew, but it's primarily because tall trees, wood and leaves have moisture that protects them from wildfires. But dry bush and dead wood has no moisture and it burns quickly. And that's... Oh, there are bits and pieces left. From the wide view that we had the other day, it just didn't look like there was anything left, but apparently there is. Either way, these are being lit deliberately, I think. Doesn't matter what... even if this is the case, these things are still being deliberately lit. And some more footage that I found was this, and saying dew or camouflage telephone antenna. Well, I remember years ago in the US, they were using these as mobile phone antennas and things like that. So, who knows? As I said, I can only bring you the information that I'm finding, and it's up to each of you to make up your own mind and do your own research to see what you think, you know? And you'll get it. I think most of you do anyway. And before we pop over to Victoria, I would just like to show you something from the US again, or I don't know if it's from the US. This one's from Susan Carmona. Tesla towers going up everywhere. Have you seen one? Now these things here are Tesla towers. So just look out for these things. This is where free energy will be coming from. And here is another one. These are being shared all over Twitter at the moment. So that's another one, another Tesla tower. And this one here was what I was talking about around Melbourne yesterday. Guys, a fellow anon, this is from Red Pill Pharmacist, a fellow anon at Yana for Justice caught this on the Radar Box app. I didn't believe the screen recording either, so I downloaded it, and sure enough, what on earth? The pentagram is clear as day. I zoomed in on other flight patterns and this one isn't changing. So this is actual footage. Let me see if I can go into it. There we go. And go back to the beginning. So he obviously zooms in and just, this is the route the plane is taking. So there are some strange things happening in the skies. which is quite interesting. You see the it's even got the circle around the outside. Now over to Melbourne, and this is Rise Up Melbourne at Rise Up Melbourne. Someone just sent me this. I'd say it's spot on. So if the curfew was a decision only by the Premier and is not a direction of the CHO, the Chief Health Officer, so therefore police cannot enforce it, as it's not the CHO direction which has the power under the state of disaster. And beware world, this is Melbourne, okay? So what the actual are the police thinking with this over the top stuff? These are the police in Melbourne at a market kicking people out, and I will show you some footage. Okay, just let me make this bigger. I'm going to turn the sound off. Oh no, it's someone's phone, it's not news footage. Okay. They're pushing people out of the market. You're not allowed to shop at a market. There you go, it is recording the audio. I didn't think it was. Maybe it's just because I can't hear it because my headphones aren't plugged in. Oh dear. And then this one from Avi Yamini. Happening now, Victoria Police enforcing coronavirus restrictions by trapping protesters in small space, making social distancing impossible. This stopped being about a virus a long time ago. Look at that. And they're the same type of police that were at a place that I was at. So they were dressed in more really dark. It wasn't normal boys in blue that we have over here. And this one from Red-Pilled Parler, Red-Pilled Aussie. Who has eyes on what's going on here in Melbourne, Australia? We're still locked in our home 23 hours a day, not allowed further than 5 kilometres from home. Only food and pharmacy shopping allowed. Only one person from each home allowed to shop. Please retweet. Where we go, one we go, all worldwide. I'll just check. Is there more to it? These are the Nazis. And Q-Tip says, help please, I'm calling on the bigger Melbourne accounts to tweet to their followers so that we can get a feel for how many international anons have got their eyes on Melbourne, and for us to understand how their MSM is reporting on Melbourne's situation. Thanks in advance. And I think that this is because, this is warning you next, guys. Be aware. And then this has happened just recently. I'm going to cut the sound off. This girl is apparently being pulled out of the car because she wouldn't answer who she was to the police. So it gets quite bad at the end because they start to pull her out of the car. And she's fighting them. And they got her. So this is what's going on in Melbourne, but Has everyone seen this? This is from Rise Up Melbourne. It's already getting widespread media coverage. Red flag number 1. I'm going out on a limb here again. I'm calling this out as staged, the reason being simple. This is an attempt to rile the public up against police. Think Portland, etc. Google strong cities. So that's just something to think about. We can't be against the police. We kind of need them. The normal ones, though, not these, whoever these other police officers are, those are the ones we don't need. And another one for Melbourne, Rise Up Melbourne again. Awesome thread here on what could be unfolding in Victoria. Wake Up Australia has been busting his chops compiling evidence. It makes perfect sense to me. Decide for yourself, something ain't right in Victoria, there is no doubt. Wake Up Australia, wake up. PSYOP, Victoria, Australia is the only state to sign up to the Strong Cities Network. These staged videos will escalate to a point that we will need to do a review of the current state of Victoria Police Department. This will see further collaboration with the UN Strong Cities. And this is that lady who's pulled from a car. You can be sure when these videos are being pushed by all the major networks as fast as possible, there's another agenda at play here. Don't be fooled. Notice we haven't seen any of the new blue helmets drag anyone out of a car. And Strong Cities Network is a program hatched by the Department of Justice wherein control of local law enforcement is handed over to a London-based think tank called the Institute for Strategic Dialogue. And there's a thread in there as well. Information has been militarised. So be prepared for the escalation of police violence and ask yourself what's really going on here. And we all have that friend who follows Oz Rayleigh, so Avi Yamini. Let them know what you find on the Strong City agenda and his silence on this. Okay, and infiltration, not invasion. NATO and CIA have used this plan for a takeover city by city of all of a country's police departments. It's been done by UN peacekeepers in Bosnia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, Syria, Libya, Sudan, Yemen and Haiti. And that's another thread there. Hope you can put the connection together here for yourself. And this tweet here, wowee, someone just sent me this take. A close look, BLM heads. It looks like George Floyd was a police informant. Does that give credence to our belief that maybe it was staged as we said all along? Did he even die? You decide. And there's a lot of like little offshoots to this, so I will put this in the links down below. You make up your own mind. Thanks to Rise Up Melbourne, just another coincidence. Okay. And I happen to, look, I kind of think this is, like someone said, this is all a psyop for both, well, I think on all sides, to be honest now. Unless all these people being dragged away is like the DS doing their thing. But yeah, I'd be just really careful about all of this, and I don't know, to be honest. I don't know whether it is or not. Oh, here's another story I forgot about from Chuk Chuk at Parler. Police protect pedophile within their ranks. From Sydney Criminal Lawyers. Just let me make this a lot bigger so we can all see it, hopefully. A former Victorian police officer has been convicted of raping children during his time on the force. The former officer, whose name has been suppressed to protect the identity of his victims, has pled guilty to 18 offences against 9 children, including his own stepchildren, which were committed between 1967 and 1979. The Blue Shield. The Crown prosecutor told the court that the officer asked one boy who was under the age of 10 if he would like to see the police station. He took the boy to a room within the station that had a bed and then raped him. On another occasion, a girl attended the police station for help after losing her mother at a nearby festival. The officer said he would look after her, then took her into the back of a police van and forced her to perform oral sex on him. Other victims included his 3 stepchildren, his children's friends and neighbours. The officer used his uniform to gain the trust of children he molested. One woman whose son was abused reported the incident to police. Officers visited her at home the next day and assured her that the offender would not be in the police force anymore, but that did not occur. It was only later that the organisation forced the officer to resign, but he was never arrested or charged over the offences. He gained employment in the private sector, going on to sexually assault children for at least another 4 years. He is now 66 years old. Monster. The man's stepdaughter, now 45, gave harrowing testimony in court, including how her stepdad held a police revolver to her head while raping her. She wept while remembering how she hoped he would pull the trigger and put her out of her misery. Instead, he forced her to suffer through years of hell in his sick games. Her primary school was no refuge. He would show up in police uniform, in the police car, police revolver. All the other kids thought it was cool, she told the court. He would take her home while everyone else in the house was away and attack her, before driving her back to school in the police car. She described how, when she was 9, she went to her grandmother's due to hemorrhaging. They initially thought she was having her first period. Instead, a doctor advised it was a miscarriage. "He is a monster," she raged at her stepfather in court. "He needs to never see the light of day again. Once a monster, always a monster. He will never change." She testified that when she was 15, her grandfather helped her go to the police and report the abuse, but was told the man would probably get off because he was an ex-cop. Police began formally investigating the former policeman decades later in 2011, and he was arrested in 2012. He is serving a sentence for acts of a similar nature and is due to be sentenced for the 18 offences in coming days. So, and I'll include all these links down below for you guys, and you can check them out for yourself. And as I say, make up your own mind on what you can prove to yourself. So I'll just bring the information, and it's up to you to decide what you think about it. Okay guys, I hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and I'll be back very soon. Okay guys, bye.